Planet Dolan.
From hellish exes to black-eyed priests, we look at 10 horrifying wedding disasters. Hey everyone, my name is Melissa. I'm here to caress your brain cells with weird facts from all over the world. Number 10. Breast dressed. At the reception, a bride and her bridesmaid sister let loose on the booze. The wedding is the first opportunity the bridesmaid has to let her hair down since having a baby. But what starts out as some cringeworthy loudness takes a turn for the worst when a bride and her sister begin tabletop dancing. Then the twisted duo make their way to the dance floor, grinding against one another and writhing in all their drunken, uncoordinated glory. As if this weren't awkward enough for onlookers, in the middle of the dance floor the bridesmaid begins breastfeeding the bride, while their family looks on in horror. Yikes. Look, breastfeeding is awesome and all, but a grown woman being breastfed should probably be reserved for kinky porn, not in front of your new in-laws. Number 9. Ex-cels at crazy. At one wedding, the groom's baby mama showed up uninvited, brandishing a baseball bat. She somehow found out the location of the ceremony and shows up screaming bloody murder. She goes on to claim that the groom had been in her bed the night before, and she tries to rush at the bride. The heavily pregnant bride was obviously upset, but luckily unharmed, as a few guests managed to tackle the intruder in time. So, the ceremony was called off and the cops showed up to take the crazy ex to lockup. I wonder if she has the resources to pull an El Chapo and escape. Hopefully not, though. Number 8. Photoshop photographer. The day after a beautiful ceremony, the bride called her wedding photographer to ask for a favor. She wanted to know if the photographer would be able to Photoshop one of her bridesmaids out of the photos. The photographer said she wasn't sure how good the photos would look. But the bride told her, "I don't care how it looks, that bitch fucked my husband last night." The photographer said she would try, but thought the bride would do better by editing the groom out of her life, rather than the bridesmaid. So it seems some honeymoon periods don't even last the honeymoon, or the wedding night. Number 7. Maternal Instinct. After an intimate ceremony with family and close friends, things got a little too intimate a little too soon. Midway through the reception, the bride couldn't find her hunky hubby. She went for a wander and was shocked to find him in the arms of another woman. And not just any woman. It was the bride's mother. The saucy pair were canoodling under a pair of coats, very naked and very drunk. It turned out the husband and his mother-in-law had been having an affair for months. The groom tried to say he thought he was hooking up with his new wife, but her mother was not having a bar of it. The newlyweds quickly annulled their unholy matrimony, and I'm assuming the bride's family dinners were pretty tense thereafter. Number 6. Sinead O'Connororing. The day before one wedding, the maid of honor decided to shave her head, which the bride was okay with, but she found it odd that her bridesmaid randomly decided to go Britney Spears circa the meltdown. But it turns out, the act was the maid of honor's attempt at a silent protest. She was in love with the groom, so she chose to make a statement by going all Uncle Fester on her bestie's big day. The bride didn't learn the true love motive until 2 years later when the husband left her for the maid of dishonor. Her shaven compadre just couldn't keep her hands or her clippers to herself. Number 5. Thirsty sister. At a low-key, casual wedding by a lake, the groom's sister was totally overdressed. She was teetering on her stiletto heels and wearing a dress normally reserved for clubbing. But she wasn't worried that everybody else was in khaki, smart casual. She seemed to like it. After the ceremony, she and her boyfriend start arguing because he isn't paying enough attention to her. So she smacks him across the face with one of her shoes. With blood gushing from his head, she then says she's had enough of this and throws herself into the lake. But she didn't realize the water was only 4 foot deep and quite marshy, so instead of drowning herself, she writhes around in the muddy water looking ridiculous. Instead of the attention she was after, her father tells her to cut the shit. Number 4. Monster-in-law. The bride's mother-in-law had made no attempt to conceal her contempt about her son's engagement ever since she'd found out about it. She made sure her son and his fiancé were aware of her disapproval for months in advance and did everything in her power to break up the pair. When the wedding day finally came, the mother-in-law spent the entire ceremony sobbing loudly and even told the bride's mother that her daughter looked fat in her wedding gown. She kept announcing to people she didn't know that she should have worn black because she was in mourning for her son's future. When the priest asked if anybody knew why these two should not be married, It took 3 people to restrain the old bag, like she had suddenly turned into the senior citizen Hulk.
Number 3.
Wedding heist. Following a beautiful ceremony, the newlywed couple made their way down the aisle as man and wife. But before they leave, the bride's mother steps forward, announcing that she and her husband are going to renew their vows, right then and there. Seeing as how she and her husband had paid for the event, she said she didn't want it to go to waste. So the crowd awkwardly returned to their seats. But the shenanigans continue, with the mother continually commenting loudly about how nobody bought her a present. After drinking heavily at the reception, the sobbing mother accuses the bride of stealing her special day, while swearing at the guests. She then takes onus of the wedding cake and leaves. Jeez, this woman would have to be the worst kind of narcissist, with a mix of Amanda Bynes-style crazy.
Number 2.
Black-eyed priest. Shortly after a Catholic ceremony, there were drinks and food to enjoy before the reception. The priest was being a social butterfly, and he went over to the newlyweds and their in-laws to congratulate them. The polite pleasantries turned sour pretty quickly though, as the priest kept making jokes about it being a shotgun wedding. After a few jokes, the already inebriated groom punched the priest in the eye, leaving him dazed and confused. The wedding guests were totally perplexed. That is, until the bride announced that she was actually 3 months pregnant. The couple are still together, and hopefully the priest has learned to keep his jokes to himself.
Number 1.
Food poisoning. This is the wedding that had everyone running for cover. Halfway through the reception, the toilet cubicles were filling up fast, and people were puking, left, right, and center. And no, it wasn't just to avoid having to listen to the speeches, or because they'd all partied too hard. It was the catering company's not-so-fresh food that gave a whopping 46 guests an unhealthy dose of salmonella. While puking with somebody you barely know can make you fast friends, food poisoning is not the ideal way to celebrate your big day. 2 of the sick guests are now suing the catering company for $50,000. Talk about a shitty wedding. That's all for now, guys. I'll catch you next week.
They actually forcibly stop you from taking a leak or emptying your bowels for 3 whole fucking days. Yeah, you're welcome. Now keep having sex in front of me.